Hi, Mike here. You're watching Scout Restoration Yukon. In this video, Scout Engine Hookup 2, I check ground continuity and install a new coil and ballast resistor. Then, while waiting for parts, I install the radiator and hoses. Finally, I install new spark plug wires and check for spark. I will show all the details. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out. So I got a new ballast resistor. This is the part number here. And here's the ballast resistor. I've mounted it onto the coil like this. And I got a new coil. Externally resisted coil. New. The coil will go in here like this, with the negative terminal on this side closest to the distributor. So I just have to tighten that up. So I'm going to install the coil bracket. Put one bolt in here. That lock washer and a nut. And the other one. So I've found the easiest way to tighten these up is with two wrenches. It's a 5/16 bolt, but the nut is actually 9/16 wrench size. There's one tight. This one here might be easier to hold the nut and use the box end on the wrench to tighten. Yeah, that's working quite well. There, those are tight. So the first thing I'm going to do is connect the distributor to the negative side of the coil. That's this black wire right here, coming from the distributor. Lock washer, nut. That's tight. So I'm turning this resistor around the other way, which I don't know why I didn't install it that way the first time. So the green wire, which is key on hot, spade connector, so that pushes on there. And then this wire at the other end of the resistor goes to the positive side of the coil. And then the blue wire, which is the wire that comes from the starter, and it gives a pure 12 volts, a full 12 volts from the starter only when cranking. So they're all hooked up. I will test the voltage at the coil later on when the engine is running. There's one more wire to reconnect here. That's the oil pressure sender, and it's pretty easy to access from the front wheel. So I have a nut and a lock washer going there. I'll just tighten that with the 1/4 inch drive 3/8 socket. I'll have to go underneath again. I'm waiting for new spark plug wires. So in the meantime, I'm going to install the radiator. So let's get to work. So I took this radiator to the rad shop and had it pressure tested and flushed out. So it's good to go. Just have to slip it in here. Turn the fan a little bit to get it to go down. So this radiator is held in place by 4 5/16 bolts. This bolt here, where the ground strap goes, I just have to make some bare metal. That should be sufficient for the ground. One more bolt. Right there. Lock washer. And a nut. Just have to tighten these guys up. One. So that's all there is to that. That's tightened up. The ground's on. The radiator's located. Now let's have a look at the rad hoses. Before I install the upper rad hose, I will install this cross piece that goes across the rad support like so, and stiffens the whole thing, and it'll straighten it out. It's not actually straight right now, so that'll affect the length of the upper rad hose. So there's just some 5/16 bolts, 6 of them, no big deal. It is going to make a difference because I see that I actually have to pry it out a little bit to get the bolts to line up. And I'm going to take that battery right out of there. There's one started. Now that they're all threaded, I can tighten them up with this. I think that's sufficient. So there's these 2 cross braces, little 1/4-inch bolts. One goes like that. The other one goes like this. Seven 16ths ratcheting wrench for this one. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. So there's these 2 loops for the wiring harness. Here, one here, one here. So now I'm installing the upper rad hose. I just put a little bit of dish soap inside the hose so it goes on easier. Now, I just have to get it on here. Right. I don't have any clamps right now. Now move on to this rad hose here. I'll install this one with a little bit of dish soap inside this one. Right. So there goes this rad hose. Same thing. Don't have any clamps. That went on pretty easy. See how it goes to put on this lower rad hose. I think that's going to go better from underneath. I'm going to trim a little bit off the other end. There. Now we can see the lower rad hose is installed. I just haven't put any clamps on there yet. Attention fellow Scout enthusiasts. Thanks for watching. I hope that you're getting useful insights from my videos. If I can earn 1,000 subscribers, I will be able to create Scout videos for a long time. Please like and subscribe so that we can continue this journey for years to come. I will show all the details. Over and out. So one of the original spark plug wires for my Scout had way too much resistance. So I went and got these Belden Edge premium spark plug wires from Napa. It's a universal kit, so I'll have to cut them to length and build my own wire set. Stripping the ends on these spark plug wires. This is a universal kit, so they're already stripped, bared. I put a little dielectric grease on there to make it easy to slide the boot on. And then I just fold the inner core right back like that. And
And then I have to put the back of this. So I have to squeeze it a little bit first because it doesn't fit properly in here. And then I put this in here and I squeeze it. And I can tell you what I think is this tool is not doing a very good job. So now I'm going back and I'm squeezing this just with my regular little channel lock pliers. So that's on there. So here I am. I have the engine at number 1 TDC compression. I have all the spark plugs out. I have new points, new rotor, new condenser, everything's set. The rotor, I have a mark on the cap here, but the rotor is pointing exactly right at number 1 here. You can see here, there's where the cap goes, and there's number 1 spark plug wire right there, and there's the rotor pointing right at it. So I'm going to lock that cap down. All right, get it back in place. So the cap's on. So I'm pulling off all the ignition wires and giving them a shot of dielectric grease, putting them back on again. So I'll do that. That's the coil, and that's the center of the distributor cap, the coil wire. Takes a little bit of effort to get that wire all the way down in there. And while I'm here, these are the last 2 hose clamps that have to go on. So now all the rad hose clamps are on. So now I'm putting the spark plugs in. They've all been gapped and everything, of course. We looked at this before. And I'm just going to finger tighten them for now. I'm just going to leave number 1 plug out and crank the engine over with the key on to see if I have any spark. Just to have a look and see if we have spark or not. Yeah, these spark plug wires, I'm not very happy. It doesn't feel like they're going on. So should have done this before. I just sprayed some WD-40 in there so I could slide the boots back, right? That's what I want to do, is just slide the boots right back so that I can, when I put these wires on, I know they're on the spark plug properly. So I just sort of hold that up a little bit and spray some WD-40 in there. And then I can push the boot back. So there we go for them. So that's number 2 spark plug. And now I can firmly grasp that connector, right? It's hard to put it on the spark plug. They're not going on there the way I want. So just try very carefully with a pair of pliers here. There, it's on there. Whoa. Okay. So that's going to be fun taking those off, isn't it? Number 3, right? I can't push it on by hand, man. Grab it. Push it. So one thing about that, they're not going to fall off, are they? But later on, the person's going to have to pull those boots back in order to change the spark plugs. Otherwise, we're going to wreck the wires. One more here. That takes a real effort to push that on there. It's on. Okay, I'm going to slip the boots on. These ones. Pretty good. when you got your wires. So there's number 1 spark plug wire here. It's sparking. So I got a good spark.
In conclusion, I'm very happy that the ignition system is making good spark. In my next video, I install the fenders and grill nose. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out.